hate theater. Well, it's so disappointing, isn't it? You know what I do when I'm sitting in a darkened theater waiting for the show to begin? I pray. Oh, dear God, please let it be a good show and let it be short. Oh, Lord, heaven, please. 2 hours is fine. 3 hours is too much. And keep the actors out of the audience. God, I didn't pay good money to have the fourth wall come crashing down around my ears. I just want a story and a few good songs. I just want to be entertained. I mean, isn't that the point? Amen. You know, there was a time when people sat in darkened theaters and thought to themselves, what have George and Ivor Gershwin got for us tonight? Or can Cole Porter pull it off again? Now it's, please, Elton John, must we continue this charade? It used to be, sitting there in the dark, you knew that when the lights came up, you would be taken to a world full of color and music and glamour. And you thought to yourself, my God, when are they going to bring up the lights? Oh, how things have changed. Hello. How are you today? Good. Oh. I'm feeling a little blue myself. A little anxious for no particular reason. A little sad that I should feel anxious at this age. A little self-conscious anxiety, resulting in a non-specific sadness. A state that I call blue. Anyway, whenever I'm feeling this way, blue, I like to listen to my music. So, I was going through my records this morning. Yes, records. And I was going to put on the soundtrack recording of Meredith Willson's The Music Man. I had a craving for a young Ronnie Howard. But then I said, no, let's have a treat. Let's disappear for a while into the decadent world of the 1920s, where the champagne flowed while the caviar chilled and all the world was a party. Well, for the wealthy anyway. So, I dug about, and what did I find but one of my favorite shows, Gable Einstein's The Drowsy Chaperone. Remember, music by Julie Gable, lyrics by Sidney Stein. It's a 2-record set, remastered from the original Broadway recording, made in 1928. It features the original Broadway cast, including Beatrice Stockwell as the chaperone. Isn't she elegant? This is a full 15 years before she became Dame Beatrice Stockwell. Can you believe it? Let me read you what it says on the back. It says, mix-ups, mayhem, and a gay wedding. Well, of course the phrase gay wedding has a different meaning now, but back then it just meant fun. And that's just what the show is. Fun. So, would you indulge me? Would you let me play the record for you now? Yes. Yes. I was hoping you would say yes. You hear that static? I love that sound. To me, it's the sound of a time machine starting up. All right, now, let's visualize. Imagine, if you will, it's November 1928. You just arrived at the doors of the Roscoe Theater in New York City. It's very cold. Remember when it used to be cold in November? Not anymore. November's the new August now. It's global warming. We're all doomed. Anyway, a heavy gray sleet is falling from the sky, but you don't care because you're going to see a Broadway show. Listen. sure is. A musical appetizer. A poo-poo platter of tunes, if you will. Oh, something new! What could it be? Sounds like it. And frogging. Maybe. Involving pirates! Don't worry. They're only pirates.
You are the king of romance.
right. I'll lead you through this record as best as I can. Don't worry, it won't be hard to follow. So, we begin with a welcome from the love-struck groom.
Everyone, I would like to thank you all for coming. I tell you, I must be one lucky fellow to think that I, Robert Martin, would be marrying a glamorous showgirl. And that glamorous showgirl would be willing to give up a successful career for me, Robert Martin. Now, if it were for prohibition, I'd say let's raise a glass.
Hear, hear!
To Miss Janet Van de Graaff, the most beautiful girl in the world.
Absolutely not! Wait, what?
Excuse me? The groom mustn't see his bride on the day of the wedding. It's bad luck.
I hope you heard that, because that's the plot. Basically, hang on for the ride.
Breakfast will be served in the Arabian.
Say, it's a little early in the day to be drinking, isn't it?
I don't understand the question.
Look, you keep Janet away from Robert. You understand? You're the chaperone. That's your only job.
Aye, aye, mon Capitan.
Oh, Robert, who's my little monkey?
I'm your little monkey.
So, bride and groom are whisked away, and we turn our attention to the B plot, which involves the producer.
Mr. Belton!
Getting married, leaving show business!
Mr. Belton!
Doesn't she know I got obligations?
Mr. Belton! I can be a leading lady. You said it yourself, I'm useless in the chorus.
Kitty, the last time you don't got what it takes.
What have I been practicing? Singing, acting, ballet.
Ballet?
Yeah, I'm pretty good too. Last week I auditioned for Swanee Lake.
Oh, a little annotation here. Kitty and Feldzig were a couple in real life, Jack and Sadie Adler. Now, this is a very familiar comic construct. A stupid woman and her long-suffering companion. Well, she appears stupid, but in the end, she does something quite clever and makes us all wonder whether it was just an act. The irony here is that Sadie actually was quite stupid. Jack had to explain all the jokes to her, apparently. But still, she had a wonderful career on the stage. At that time, the theater was the only place where a stupid person could earn a decent living. This was before television, of course.
Kitty, I don't have time for this.
Appetite for Mr. Feltzig?
Not now. Perhaps a nice profiterole. Boys, I'm not hungry.
And maybe we could give you something else to chew on.
Yeah, something that ain't food.
What? Your confusion is to be expected. Although we stand here before you in the guise of innocent pastry chefs, we are also
And primarily,
employees of a certain individual
a certain individual? A certain individual.
who happens to be the largest single investor in Feldzig's Follies. He has sent us here
As pastry
to
chefs.
express his concern about Miss Vandergraff's impending nuptials.
Specifically,
And if she gets married and leaves the show, then there ain't no show!
Say, I know you.
no you don't.
Have you ever spent any time in Toledo?
Have you ever spent any time in a coma?
No. But I have a cousin in Seattle.
Kitty! Alright, boys. Tell your boss this wedding is never gonna happen. You have my word.
Oh, we'll take your word, all
Oh,
right.
but to go back on that word will be a recipe for disaster. I hope we made ourselves perfectly eclair.
One cannoli hoe.
No, you're just gotta be kidding me.
A trifle
Oh,
much.
don't talk with me.
All right, you can drop the pastry chef routine.
Alas, we ganache.
We're on the lamb.
The lamb's an entree, you macaroon. Da 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 da.
The gangsters were examined by a sarcastic immigration official. The Vaudeville brothers were the typical example of a Broadway gangster, full of wordplay and stylized movements. Not very intimidating. Unless you find dancers intimidating. Which I do. But for reasons that would not be appropriate to the situation.
We'll leave the matter into your hands, Mr. Felton. In the meantime, feel free to browse the dessert carousel.
Try the Toledo surprise.
It's
to die for.
Oh, very perceptive, kitty. Now go powder your face. Oh, I've got to stop this wedding, but how? Oh, Lord in heaven, how?
I always thought that moment was a little overplayed. So, with the story well on its way, let's go to the groom's room.
Hey there, handsome. Show me them pearly whites.
The groom was played by the dashing Percy Hyman. He started out as the Albright toothpaste man. His fabulous smile adorned every tube. Albright was hugely popular in the early 20s because it contained cocaine. It's true. If you looked, it was the 5th ingredient down right after sugar. Anyway, it wasn't long before Percy became a huge matinee idol.
Now, don't you worry. It's perfectly normal to be nervous on your wedding day. It is? Of course.
I love Percy Hyman. Now, some people say he was a bad actor, but to those people I say, shut up!
Hey there, Mr. Mirror Man, shaking and a-quaking, trembling like them fraidy cats do. Something may be bothering you. Know what you got? Cold feet, cold feet. Brother, you've got cold feet. You can make them cold feet hot with a little rhythm. Young feet, only can be uncontrolled feet. With to make them cold feet hot down the aisle. Frosty orchards, they can learn to swing. Icy toes can die. Burning oranges playing a ragtime swing. Make frigid souls come alive and take that dive. Cold feet, turn into cold feet.
You don't say. Well, why don't you just slime back into your mud hole, you backstabbing worm? Well, now I've reminded you, minister.
Say, what are you up to?
I'm singing a song an old Negro taught me. A little Dixie remedy for wedding day jitters.
You think you got jitters? You got the easy part. I still got rice, boot beers, and a minister. I have the weight of the wedding on my shoulders.
Say, George, you know what you got? Cold feet.
What do I got?
Cold feet.
What do I want?
Cold feet.
Well, what do I do?
Cold feet. No! Make the cold feet hot. Whoa, George, look at Oh, thank you, underling.
Yes, sir.
5, 6, 7, 8. Coffee, coffee. Rhythm makes them
Percy Hyman was a wonderful performer. I like to think of him panting and sweating. Dance routine. You know, he's still alive today. I saw him on the news recently celebrating his 100th birthday. To say that the passing years have taken their toll on him would be a grotesque understatement. They wheeled him out and he had that look of pained confusion that God reserves for the very, very old on their birthdays. You know, the one that says,
Who are you? Who am I? And why is this cake on fire?
you know what I'm talking about? Anyway.
All right, that's enough of that, dancing around like a fool.
Come on, George. I'm just nervous. It is my wedding day, after all.
Well, you could have snapped an ankle. Tap dancing is too dangerous. Oh, why don't you go out for a skate instead? That's what I do when I want to blow off some steam.
George, you think of everything.
Wait. What was I thinking? You can't go out looking like that. You might see Janet. Here, put on this blindfold.
George, what would I do without you?
Just looking out for you, my boy. No more tap dancing. Wedding bells will ring. Wedding bells will chime. Wedding bells will sound.
Just ignore it. It does this occasionally. It rings. It will stop soon. Just ignore it. What do you want?
Hello, you have reached my answering machine. Leave a short message after the tone and I'll call you back at my convenience.
Well, that's it. The moment is ruined. Thank you. Thank you, life. God, I hate that. It's like a cell phone going off in a theater. Hello, what are you doing? Oh, I'm at the theater. Ruining the moment. What about you? Oh, I couldn't get out tonight, so I thought I'd ruin the moment by proxy. Sorry. Let's just shake that off. Let's go back in our minds to 1928. They didn't have cell phones in 1928, but I'm sure they had something else for ruining the moment. Bugles or something.
Happy wedding time.
Entertaining questions from reporters as she launches back
Miss Vandegraff, is it true you're giving us up a successful career to marry a man you just met?
Yes. Robert and I met on the Lido deck of the Ile-de-France. We spooned briefly, and then he proposed. So you won't be returning to the stage ever? I shan't. You shan't? I shan't. Can I quote you on that? Of course. One more question. Yes. Why in the world would anyone put olives in a Gibson?
I got a question. How can you give us the footlights when you know very well you got grease paint in your veins?
Victor, please.
Oh, Janet, I'm begging you. Don't the mugs stay with the Follies. I'll give you anything you want. Oh, fine. I'll put your name above mine in the marquee.
Oh, Victor, if you think this is about vanity, you couldn't be more wrong. I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to sing tunes no more. I don't want to ride moons no more. I don't want to show off. I don't want to wear this no more. Play the saucy Swiss no more. Blow my signature no more. I don't want to show off.
Janet, please.
Don't try to control me. I've made up my mind, and that's it. I quit. I'm leaving it all behind. I don't want to be cute no more. Make the gentleman vote for me. I don't want to wear fruit no more. I don't want to show off.
Can't you see? It's killing us all.
Oh, don't worry, boys. This isn't over yet.
Yeah, I'm surprised she didn't do an encore.
I don't wanna. She was billed as the girl whose sexual energy was so great that it caused the men around her to have accidents. Spill their drinks, drag their cars into trees, and she would go, oops! Well, I'm not really doing it justice, but people ate it up. She made a whole series of films. Oops. The Oops Girl, Oops Girl Comes Home, and Oops Girl at Sea, which won an Oscar for special effects.
Oh, okay, so begging and groveling didn't work. Oh. On to plan B. And for that, I am going to need an accomplice. Someone gullible with loose morals. I'm gonna need a, what do you call him? A European!
In walks Aldolfo, self-proclaimed ladies' man. Aldolfo was played by former silent film star and world-class alcoholic Roman Bartelli. He was the one who later drank himself to death at a chateau in Nice, remember? It was 5 days before they found the body, and by that time, it had been partially consumed by his poodles. Oh, well, he was only partially consumed.
Excuse me, I don't believe
I am Adolfo!
you are Aldolfo?
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Well, not the Aldolfo.
Yes, I am Adolfo.
Funny, you don't look like a scoundrel to me.
Yes, what?
Why, just now, I overheard the groom saying that Aldolfo is a scoundrel.
What? Adolfo is scoundrel?
Those very words.
Adolfo is a scoundrel!
It's like I'm hearing it again.
This is outrageous! He is saying this to people, to beautiful ladies who press for making love. I must!
You must take matters in your own hands.
Yes, I must take this groom into my hands and kill him!
Yes! No! Wait! Don't kill him. Just hurt him enough so we can't get married.
Show me to this groom. Wait!
What?
What kind of man is this groom? Is he a big man?
Well,
A burly fellow?
well, he's big on the outside.
Oh, no! Adolfo was a fight big man. Small, pale, little tall people, Adolfo cannot punch for a man. But no big man.
Oh, so you're a lover, not a fighter.
Yes. Adolfo is a lover of beautiful ladies. Some say the king of romance.
Well, you know what they say. The best way to get revenge on a man is through his
Window.
No. The best way to get back at a man is through his
Door.
No. The best way to get back at a man is through his
There is no other way. I'm a Santa Claus coming through a chimney.
through his woman.
Through his woman.
Yes, Adolfo, you must seduce his woman,
His woman.
his bride.
Yes, Adolfo will make love to the bride. That'll show people Adolfo is no scoundrel. Show me to this bride.
Wait, what?
What kind of woman is this bride? Is she a big woman?
No!
A burly woman?
She's the cat's pajamas.
Pajamas?
She's a looker. An attractive woman.
Ah, show me to this cat the pajama.
Oh, stop
That will make her
Roman Bartelli chewing the scenery. You certainly couldn't get away with a performance like that nowadays, could you? Mature contemporary audiences are too sophisticated to enjoy broad racial stereotypes. So, instead, we've banished them to Disney. Let the children sort it out.
Underling,
Yes, madam.
pastry chefs have been kind enough to provide liquor for the party. But remember, Underling, we have to be discreet.
Yes, madam.
It is prohibition after all.
I'm aware of that, madam.
We'll have to use code words. For instance, if somebody asks for a glass of ice water, it really means they want a glass of vodka. Have you got that?
Yes, madam.
Are you sure? Maybe you should write it down.
I understand, madam. A glass of ice water is a glass of vodka.
What's a glass of ice water?
Vodka.
Ice water?
Vodka.
Ice.
Vodka.
That's settled then. One less thing to do. Underling, might I have a glass of ice water? I found meeting with the pastry chefs rather trying, and I would really enjoy a nice, refreshing glass of ice water.
Your ice water, madam.
Now if you're vodka, you poop!
I hate this scene.
Oh, now I really do need a glass of ice water.
Of ice water, madam?
Yes, are you going deaf?
Would that I were.
You can see where this scene is going, can't you? It's really just a series of spit takes.
Your ice water, madam.
Now if you're vodka, you poop!
Oh, you know, in some ways, the Drowsy Chaperone was quite progressive. I mean, a Middle Eastern actress playing the aviatrix, for instance.
Your ice water, madam.
Now if you're vodka, you poop!
Yes, some elements were quite progressive, and others were stale in 1928. You know what? I'm going to skip ahead.
Where are you going?
To find some lime juice, madam.
Lime juice, for heaven's sake, why?
I'm going to bring out my eyebrows and make myself a gimlet.
Now, you're probably asking yourself, what was that routine doing in the show? Well, it's quite simple. There's a song coming up, and they needed something to allow for the set change. It's mechanics. It's like pornography. Let me explain what I meant by that. In pornography, the story's simplistic. How do I pay for this pizza? The classic example. My point is, as in a musical, the story exists only to connect the longer, more engaging production numbers. What? Well, what kind of a society do we live in if we can't discuss the similarities between musical theater and pornography? a mad whirlwind.
This is a really interesting scene. This is the only time in the show that Jane Roberts and Beatrice Stockwell are alone together on the stage. Now, Jane Roberts was an emerging star, but Beatrice Stockwell was already well established and a force to contend with.
I'm so full of apprehension, but I suppose that's normal considering the circumstances.
Have you ever been married, Chaperone?
No, I drink for pleasure, not out of necessity.
Your ice water, madam, I'm afraid we're fresh out of olives.
Have you ever been married, Underling?
Heavens, no, madam. If I'm going to serve a woman, I prefer to be paid for my efforts.
I know it seems crazy to marry a man I hardly know. When I look into his eyes, oh, his big monkey eyes. Oh, gee, I just get all woozy. And that's love, isn't it?
Not necessarily. The wooziness could be caused by a number of things. I mean, I'm woozy right now, and I'm certainly not in love.
Now, Beatrice Stockwell was famous for her rousing anthems. She entertained and inspired the troops in every major world conflict up to and including the Falklands War. But by that time, she was in her late 80s, and her anthems didn't so much rouse as stupefy. Still, she demanded that a rousing anthem be included in every show she ever did, even if it wasn't appropriate. But you just couldn't say no to her. That's star power.
Really? You're not being the least bit helpful. Could you at least allay my fears with a few choice words of inspiration?
Inspiration? Really, dear, that's not my forte.
If you try just a little. Stumble along on life's funny journey. As we stumble along into the blue, we look here and we look there, seeking answers anywhere, never sure of where to turn or what to do. Still we bumble our way through life's crazy labyrinth, knowing left from right nor right from wrong. But as long as we can hear that little bluebird, there'll be a song as we stumble along. That was quite nice, Chaperone. That was quite nice, Chaperone. But I don't see how it pertains to my situation.
Let me explain.
Oh, really, that's not necessary. I suppose I'm just looking for a sympathetic shoulder.
A little world in which we live. It can bore you till you've nothing left to give. 7 overrated wonders, 7 underwhelming seas, 6 excruciating continents, Antarctica. Oh, please.
Antarctica, oh, please.
Still, you mustn't let it lick you. This planet, oh so bland. Keep your eyeball on the highball in your hand. As we stumble along across life's corroded dance floor, as we push and we shove, we live and we learn. And when we finally leave the bar and see that morning star, we pull our bootstraps up and homeward turn. Then That was quite inspiring, Chaperone. But I'm still so conflicted. Please tell me, is Robert the man for me? My dear, that is something you'll have to decide for yourself. But I just don't know if he loves me. Why don't you ask him? Why don't you say, Roger, do you love me?
It's Robert. And I'm not supposed to see him. In fact, it's your job to keep me away from him.
You're right. And I take that responsibility very seriously. However, I am feeling terribly drowsy. I'm afraid I have to lie down. Now, whatever you do, don't go wandering through the garden seeking your fiancé to ask him the question upon which your future happiness depends. Oh, thank you, Chaperone. I just have to know if he loves me. Such a skinny little fool. Still, I envy her. Though when will love come crashing through my door?
Look who it is! It's Aldolfo come to seduce the bride.
I am Adolfo.
Oh, try not to think of the poodles while you're listening to this part.
I am Adolfo. And you are the bride.
Oh, no, I am not.
What? Is this not the bride of Sweden? You are the only one here. Therefore you are
The bride.
Oh, interesting argument. But I'm afraid you are a moron.
what?
Me? No. Bride. Perhaps I can take a message.
Yes, very. Dear Vandergraaf bride, I have come to make love to you, to transport you to a place of ecstasy. So, respect. Signed, Adolfo, King of Romance.
Well, you saw through my little ruse. You found me out.
That means you are the bride.
Apparently, yes. Oh, take me, Aldolphus.
Oh, no, not Adolphus. Adolfo, you must say thy name or it will ruin everything. You must say my name when we're screaming in your love. You must say thy name or nothing will go right. Now, how can I make you remember my name?
Now I'm sure that you have heard the name of Adolfo. A ladies' man who wins the claim of Adolfo. But lovely miss, I am the same Adolfo. I introduce myself, I am Adolfo.
Nice to meet you. Shall we?
Not so fast.
So just in case you didn't hear Adolfo, I'll try to make it very clear Adolfo. A lovely ladies always hear Adolfo. When I repeat myself, I am Adolfo.
Understood.
I can sing it high. I can sing it low. Adolfo. I can sing it very fast. I can sing it very slowly.
I can sing now, but it would take hours. Now let us see if you can remember my name.
Now who's the fellow that you see?
Aldolfo.
And how should you refer to me?
Aldolfo.
And who is it loyalty?
Aldolfo.
I'll sing it proudly.
You are Aldolfo.
Now let me spell it out for you. For all you lovely ladies who do not hear verse some reason. Because you are hard of hearing. Or something. I don't know. But it goes. Oh. No.
Sorry, madam. It is my wedding day, so I have to wear a blindfold.
Blindfold?
Who is it that I am speaking to?
Why, it's me. I mean, Mimi. Mimi from France. This scene couldn't be more ridiculous. So, I hear you are here to marry Jeannette Van de Graaff, no?
Oui.
I hear she is very beautiful.
Oui.
And glamorous.
Ah, oui, oui.
I hear she has an exceptionally broad range and excels at playing both comedic and romantic roles.
Say, I'm having a difficult time placing your accent. From where in France are you from?
The middle part? The part where they make the toast. So, you were telling me about your, how do you say it in English? Fiancé?
Ah, that's right.
So, tell me, when was the moment you knew that she was the one for you?
Well, it's a funny story, actually. We were standing on the Lido deck of the Ile de France.
Yes?
I was entertaining her about stories of my father's oil interests.
And then what happened?
And then I looked into her eyes. Her big, glamorous eyes. And I started to get all woozy.
And then you fell. And then you fell?
Yes, right on my keister. And that's what I said, well, I guess I don't have my sea legs yet.
But we haven't left the dock.
That's what she said. And that is when I knew it must be love.
And then what did you say?
Then I said, there was a time I could stop on a dime, for Paris was one of my talents. But since you've been around, I can't hold my ground. I'm consistently losing my balance. I'm an accident waiting to happen. I'm a mishap
Kitty, I don't have time for this.
I've been working on a mind reading act. Presenting Kitty the Incomprehensible! Now, think of something.
Oh, I'm thinking of something, all right.
Wait! I'm getting it! Take up some milk and a loaf of rye bread and don't forget to save your legs.
You're reading your own mind, you idiot.
Oh, no wonder it was so easy.
Mr. Feltzig! It would seem that the wedding's proceeding according to schedule.
Now it's time to receive your just desserts. What do you say, partner? Shall we whip up something special for Mr. Feltzig?
Yeah, how about a Toledo surprise?
Ah, an inspired choice.
A Toledo surprise. I never heard of that.
No, you haven't. Because those who have heard of it aren't generally heard from again.
We'll share the recipe with you.
First, you chop the nuts.
And you pound the dough.
And you bake it up nice and slow.
Then you got a Toledo surprise.
Could you give me that recipe one more time?
It's a very simple recipe, Mr. Feltzig.
First, you chop the nuts.
And you pound the dough.
Then you bake it up
nice and slow. Then you got a Toledo surprise.
Say, why don't we give him a little taste, eh?
All right.
Hold it! What style, what grace, what rhythm! Open your fists. Now shake them. Now give me that recipe one more time. Da 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 da. Go!
Chop the nuts, pound the dough, bake it up front, nice and slow. And you got a Toledo surprise. Hit the peach, push it up, throw it in. That's a tasty Toledo surprise. Just to beat it up, and you sweet it up, and you heat it up. It tries to rise, don't let it. It's a snap, dry your nose with your whites, split your yolks. That's a tasty Splendido Toledo surprise.
You boys are naturals. Keep it up. I'll go work up the contract. Hey! 5, 6, 7, 8. Oh, Kitty, I'm developing a new act.
Toledo surprise.
Don't be just the gangsters in the show you wanted to put me in. They're not even in the young yet.
Got it all wrong. The new act, it's for you, Kitty. And these boys are out back of their days.
Backup dancers? Holy cats! That hot Toledo dance to climb a burrito. Left Toledo, sugary dum dum.
Wait! Adolfo, make announcement. The wedding is off. Yes!
What for the love of God, why?
Adolfo has made it over.
To the bride.
That is not the bride, you idiot. That's the chaperone.
What?
The wedding is on.
Yes! Robert kissed a French girl. Her name is Mimi. She's very beautiful.
I didn't mean to. She was just like you, only French.
Yes, madam.
What's all this commotion about?
Wedding, madam.
There's going to be a wedding?
Oh yes, what a tragedy. What a wonderful, wonderful tragedy. The poor boys, I'll show you how it's done. First you beat it up, then you sweet it up. When you beat it up, if it tries to rise, don't let it. Toledo surprise.
Surprise! Surprise! Surprise!
Ready.
Surprise!
Ready.
intermissions. They ruin the magic, you know. 1 second you're lost in a glamorous world full of music and romance, and then boom! You're surrounded by tourists, crinkling their candy wrappers and nattering about the lack of women's restrooms. It's cruel. Oh. It's a Cliff Bar. I have a bit of a blood sugar issue. I have to eat small meals all throughout the day or I get jittery. I know it's rude, but you wouldn't like the alternative. Believe you me. Believe you me. I remember my wedding day. The ceremony wasn't until 4 in the afternoon, and I didn't have any breakfast. I do! Are you surprised that I was married? Well, there you are! You shouldn't go making assumptions about people, now should you? I'm a very complicated person. I have to go pee now. I'll be quick, I promise. Why don't we all take a 15-minute break, shall we? Go on! There's food and bathrooms outside. I'll see you in 15. Act 2 of the Drowsy Chaperone begins with this. A haunting lament from a very depressed bride. She sings it standing on her balcony, bathed in the pale blue light of a sympathetic moon, which is ridiculous because it's the middle of the day. Now, while you're listening to this, try to ignore the lyrics. I know it will be difficult, but block them out. The tune is beautiful, and it truly communicates the bride's state of mind. I put a monkey on a pedestal, trying to make that monkey stay. And he did for a time, but he needed to climb, and with other monkeys play far away. He left his jacket on that pedestal beside his tiny rusty cup, and I haven't got the strength to pick them up. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you. I'm going to pour myself a brandy. Monkey, come, little monkey. The melody is so simple, it just floats in the air. And I must confess, I always get a little bit misty when I think of that tiny jacket lying on the pedestal and long sleeves dangling on the floor. Oh, monkey, 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 you broke my heart in two. But I'll always save that pedestal for you.
monkey, monkey, monkey.
I've been accentuating to
Monkey, monkey, monkey.
I don't want to show off no more. I don't want to spread mirth no more. Even drinks on mirth no more. I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't wanna, I wanna, I don't, I do, I don't, I do. I don't wanna show.
Stage and stage and stage on the stage and the millions want to see you shine.
And I think George and futurists and George and millions do just fine. But any future I could ever care to stay includes just one two-time cad who drives me She put the monkey on and swung it. Tried to make that monkey sad. I feel it for a monkey. I love you, monkey. It's not enough. It's not enough. That's the story of a monkey gone astray. Monkey, monkey, stop. Monkey, monkey, is it funny or my that is true? Don't you just love that number? It has everything. A little Busby Berkeley, a little Jane Goodall. That's another thing I love about musicals in general. Whenever a character's in crisis, they sing and they dance, which is so much more interesting than just whining about it. But that's the glory of musical theater. Oh, you see? This is life. You manage to be happy for 5 seconds and then something starts ringing.
What a beautiful day for a wedding.
Shall I have the pews removed now, or would you prefer I wait until morning?
Okay, I'm going to stop here because I don't want this number ruined by a ringing telephone. Here, we have 2 vaudeville performers who have slipped through the cracks of time. They are Noel Fitzpatrick and Ukulele Lil. I don't know anything about them. I mean, I suppose Ukulele Lil plays the ukulele, although she doesn't in this show. I mean, I tried to find out more about them. I went through all my books. I even tried the internet, but all of my searches ended in Tiny Tim's autopsy photographs. Anyway, they're both charming.
Why would you have the pews removed?
The bride has called off the wedding, madam.
Oh, underling, never listen to a bride on her wedding day. Love is a very complex emotion, underling.
Yes, madam.
You can be very close to someone at 1 minute, and at the next, why, you just want to strangle them. Do you understand?
I'm familiar with the urge to strangle.
See, that's just the nature of love. Love makes lovers worry, love makes lovers fret. But there's one fact on which we can depend. Just like long ago when Romeo loved Juliet, love is always lovely in the end.
But Romeo and Juliet was a tragedy.
Oh, I never read the reviews. Love could start a quarrel, love could cause a din, but love has always been a trusty friend. 'Twas a happy fate for Henry VIII and Anne Boleyn. Love is always lovely in the end.
I must point out, madam, that Anne Boleyn lost her head.
Yes, she was in love. Love was good to Eve.
pose a question, madam?
Yes, of course.
Why does nothing I say to you ever get through?
Don't mind if I do. Love is always lovely in the end.
Quite trying, excuse me, but pour myself a glass of ice water.
Love sneaks up behind you. Love drops from above. Love would never consciously offend. Love has certainly been kind to me in my true love. Love is always lovely in the end.
But your late husband was a brute.
I don't mean him, you silly coot. Love is always lovely.
Lovely, lovely, lovely.
Love is always lovely in the end. Love is always lovely in the end.
Yes, that was charming. But to be frank, on some level, that number pisses me off. Now, I'm going to say something here, and yes, I have been drinking, but I'm going to go out on a limb and say that love is not always lovely in the end. Often in the end, there are lawyers. And another thing, surely someone was aware of that awkward sexual connotation. Love is always lovely in the end. I mean, is it just me? I guess what I'm saying is that that number is naive and irresponsibly so. I'm sorry. I just thought that needed to be said for the benefit of the younger people. I won't interrupt anymore. But there is a moment coming up that I have become obsessed with.
There you are. Oh, chaperone, I'm in a terrible state. You certainly are. You can't go to the wedding looking like that. Oh, you poor dear. Haven't you heard the wedding's been called off? Not your wedding. Mine. That reminds me, might I borrow your veil? You're getting married. What to whom?
Ah, beautiful lady, powerful expression.
You're marrying Al Dalfa? I know it is surprising. But when I look into his eyes, his big, clumsy eyes, I get all drowsy. And that's love, isn't it?
Yes, dear. That is love. Help me.
There you are. All right. I'm gonna put my cards up on the table. I got a weak heart. Can't take the pressure. If this goes on any longer, the old ticker's gonna give out. Just please tell me, is there going to be a wedding or not?
Yes,
Thank the good Lord in heaven.
Al Dalfa and Chaperone are getting married.
What?
Here you are. I have wonderful news. There is going to be a
We
wedding.
know.
No.
Yes, we just heard.
But who told you?
I did.
But how did you know?
What difference does it make?
Mrs. Tonda and I are to be married in the garden at 7:30 this evening.
What?
Oh, yes.
Congratulations to everyone.
Say, what kind of a cockamamie wedding is this? Everybody's getting married except the bride and groom.
Janet, there you are! I've been looking everywhere for you!
Hello, Mr. Martin.
Janet, please don't be that way. Can't you find it in your heart to marry me? It's our wedding day. George has gone through all of this trouble and, well, I do love you. More than I can say.
Have you kissed another woman?
Yes, I know, and I just don't understand it. When I was kissing that French girl,
Why, it was just like kissing you.
Oh, Robert, you were kissing me.
Wait, you mean you're Mimi? Well, that French accent was remarkably accurate.
Thank you. I developed it when I played the role of Monique in Hold That Baguette.
Therefore, before you do anything, think about this. No matter how well you play the role of the happy wife, you'll never get a standing ovation again.
I just don't know what to do. I'm so conflicted. Oh, Chaperone, will you please, just this once, give me some advice that is coherent and appropriate to the situation. Now, here it comes, the moment I was talking about. Not only the culmination of the plot, but a moment that has fascinated me more than any other and brought me back to this record again and again. Now here it comes. Well, my advice to you is... Oh, and this is it. Listen. You can! You see? You can't quite make out what she's saying because someone drops their cane. I'll play for you again. You can! Is she saying live while you can? Or leave while you can? You can! I mean, it's Beatrice Stockwell, so it might just be a cynical quip. But this is a wedding after all, and that's exactly what you're thinking as you're standing at the altar, isn't it? Live or leave. But you have to live, right? Because you do love her in some way. It's not an exact science. An arrow doesn't come down out of the sky and point to the one you're supposed to be with. So one day, you phrase it as a question. You say, I love you. And they accept it as a fact. And then there she is, standing in front of you in a $3,000 wedding dress with tears in her eyes, and her nephew made the huppah. So what do? Do you say I was kidding? I was joking? No, you can't. You live, right? You choose to live. And for the next couple of months, you stare at the alien form in the bed beside you. And you think to yourself, who are you? Who are you? And then one day you say it out loud, and then it's trial separation and couples counseling, and all of your conversations are about her eating disorder and your Zoloft addiction, and you're constantly redefining and reevaluating and revisiting until you finally lose the deposit on the house. And the whole relationship ends on a particularly ugly note with your only copy of Gypsy spinning through the air, smashing against the living room wall! But still, in a larger sense, in a broader sense, it's better to have lived than left, right? You have no idea how many times I've listened to that. Well, Chaperone, you certainly do have a way with words. Robert, my answer is yes. I will marry you.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mr. Boutsick, it seems like the wedding is a done deal.
Now you're in trouble.
And there's nothing you can do about it.
Oh, but there is. I've got a replacement, a new leading lady. Presenting Kitty the Incredible. Okay, Kitty, show the boys how you can read my mind.
my mind.
Kitty, will you marry me? Holy cats, Miss Announcing,
Isn't she amazing?
Well, what are we waiting for? You ladies go put on your frillies. We'll all get married in one big clump. That's how they do it in Utah.
Well, George, I don't know how you managed to pull it off. 4 weddings in one day? I guess you're everybody's best man now.
I am?
I am!
myself.
I am!
Hip hip hooray! He's George, that's George, the best man George.
I'm honored to be doing what a best man ought.
He's basking in the glory of a fight well fought. Wedding bells will ring, wedding bells will chime, wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding time. Wedding bells will celebrate a happy wedding.
Minister, you may begin. Oh no, I forgot the minister.
Tricks, the aka tricks, came up the sky. In Rio, I was wearing when my engine needed mending. I'll fix my navigatrix, and then I'll fly and let your love stand or not. Some sort of crash the party coast, but we'll have this thing fixed. 2 shakes, then off to Rio for carnival.
Wait, the captain of the ship can perform a marriage.
Yes.
And the pilot is comparable to a captain.
Yes.
But an airplane is a type of sheep. A sheep of the air. Some call it an air sheep.
Oh shit! Yes!
Wait, Trix, I got it. You can marry them on the plane and we'll all have a honeymoon in Rio.
A bride and groom in a chapel may bring a tear to the eye, but what a thrill when lovebirds trill! I do in the sky when vows are said in
When vows are said in a meadow. I do in the sky.
Do
minds. Don't talk to anyone. Don't let yourselves be distracted. Everybody, be quiet.
It's a super.
Oh, God.
Alright,
Hello.
your lights are out.
Yes.
Yeah, we're replacing the breaker panels in the basement, so we had to cut the power off.
Yes.
Yeah, so we replaced them, but then when we turned the power back on, the circuits in the apartment tripped.
Yes.
Yeah, that's what happens, it's normal.
Yes.
So I gotta reset your breakers.
Now?
It'll only take a second.
All right. All right.
You know, because I tried calling you earlier, but there was no answer.
Oh, I've been having a problem with the phone.
Here we go. What was that?
It was a record.
What kind of music was that?
It was just music. You know, it was a show, a musical.
You like musicals?
No!
I love musicals. You know, me and my wife, we go all the time. You know, you should see what they're putting on stage nowadays. I mean, did you see Miss Saigon? They put a helicopter on the stage for that one. Yeah, you know, I've seen them all. Cats, Les Mis, Saturday Night Fever. You know, I like the movie better, but that's not really up for interpretation. You know, I saw Crazy for You a couple years back, and let me tell you, the kid who played Bobby Child, now that performance
Well, that's it. It's ruined. One note away from the end of the show, and the mood is broken. I should just start the record again from the beginning. No. I can't do that, can I? It's so frustrating. You have to understand. I love this show so much, and I've never even seen it. My mother gave me the record. This was right before my father left us. He didn't leave because of the record, although I'm sure it didn't help matters. Look, I know it's not a perfect show. The spit take scene is lame, and the monkey motif is labored. But none of that matters. It does what a musical is supposed to do. It gives you a little tune to carry with you in your head, you know? A little something to help you escape from the dreary horrors of the real world. A little something for when you're feeling blue, you know? As we stumble along on life's funny journey, as we stumble along into the blue.